Lord Nelson's uniform from the Battle of Trafalgar is one of the most iconic in military history. A simple undress coat, admiral's epaulets and buttons and his various orders and decorations, and yet two of the things that make Admiral Nelson's uniform so iconic aren't British at all, but Ottoman. On his chest, a crescent, and atop his hat, the diamond Chelengk, personal gifts from the Ottoman Sultan. This is the story of the Hilal Nishana, or the Order of the Crescent. The Order of the Crescent was first established in 1799 specifically to reward Admiral Nelson for his victory at the Nile. Nelson's fleet smashed the French at Aboukir Bay and thwarted Napoleon's further ambitions in Egypt, then an important eyalet of the Ottoman Empire. In recognition of this service, and in the spirit of the new tenuous alliance with Britain, Sultan Selim III wanted to reward his victorious allies. Now, there's a lot of misinformation out there claiming that the order was created because all Ottoman decorations at the time weren't suitable for non-Muslims. And that's simply not true. The fact is that Ottomans simply didn't have European-style decorations. Ottoman custom was to bestow gifts, lands, titles. One might expect a victorious general to receive an expensive fur cloak, gold coins, silver plate, or estates. European-style orders like the Order of the Garter or the Order of the Golden Fleece, with their different classes, ribbons, medals, stars, and titles, were completely foreign concepts in the Ottoman Empire. Thus, the crescent was created as such as a European-style decoration. As the first recipient and a knight of the first class, Nelson was presented a star and a sash. He was immensely proud of the star and had copies made for all his coats. He even prematurely started signing with the postnomials KC for Knight of the Crescent at the Battle of Copenhagen in 1801, a story which so delighted the Sultan that he had a golden medal added to the order and had one sent to Nelson. And I did say prematurely, as the British government did not officially recognise the order until 1802, and thus he really wasn't supposed to put it on his uniform or style himself thusly yet. As to the specific details of the order, because it was new and because there were a number of makers, there was great variation. There are references to a red version, there was a yellow version which Nelson had on his Admiral's full dress uniform here, and here you can see the other orders he was presented: the British Order of the Bath, the Order of St. Ferdinand and a Merit from the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies, and the Order of St. Joachim. And there's the iconic blue version, most famously seen on Nelson's undress uniform, which he was wearing when he was killed at the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805. And you can see the hole where the French musket ball entered his shoulder, near the epaulette, and passed deep into his body towards the spine. Both of these uniforms are in the National Maritime Museum in Greenwich. It's also worth noting the crescent is intended to be worn this way, with the crescent open to the right, but Nelson always seems to have worn it in reverse. Now, Lord Nelson is undoubtedly the crescent's most notable recipient, but others include Sir Eyre Coote, Lord Hutchinson, and George Elphinstone the Lord Keith. Sir Sidney Smith was also made a companion of the crescent and received a Chelengk after his brilliant defence of Acre, thwarting Napoleon's attempt to move north into Ottoman Palestine. Nelson did also receive more traditionally Ottoman distinctions separate from the Order of the Crescent. A Grand Sable Pelisse, awarding large fur cloaks was quite common, and the Diamond Chelengk. The Chelengk was a marvellous decoration originally intended for wear in a turban, evocative of a feather, a Turkic mark of bravery. Nelson's was silver, encrusted in diamonds, and had a clockwork mechanism allowing the central jewel to rotate and glimmer. Spencer Smith, the British ambassador in Constantinople, upon first seeing it, wrote this description to the Foreign Office: "A superb aigrette called a Chelengk, or plume of triumph, rich of its kind, being a blaze of brilliance, crowned with a vibrating plumage, and a radiant star in the middle, turning upon its centre by means of watchwork." He also said it was equal to the first order in Christendom, attempting to place it in European terms alongside European orders, though it was still seen as very foreign and very peculiar. Russian Admiral, now Saint, Fyodor Ushakov also received a Chelengk for the Russian capture of Corfu in 1799. Here's how the Chelengk originally looked when presented to Nelson. It was later stripped down for wear as a lady's brooch, and it was stolen from Greenwich in the 1950s, though today a functional replica in its original form is on the Victory. Now, in the realm of historical fiction, in Patrick O'Brian's Aubrey Maturin series, made famous by the movie Master and Commander, Captain Jack Aubrey is presented with a Chelengk in the Ionian mission for dispatching 2 rebel ships, and nearly loses it in the desert in Treason's Harbour. Aubrey's character combines elements from the likes of Sir Sidney Smith, Nelson, Lord Cochrane, and many others, so it's fitting that he's presented a Chelengk from the Grand Signor. Now back to the order. When the Ottomans began warming to France again, and returning to their centuries-old alliance in the later stages of the Napoleonic Wars, there were also a number of French recipients of the order, including Sebastiani de la Porta, who served as the French ambassador to the Sublime Porte during a key moment in history. He convinced the Porte to take an aggressive stance against Russia in the disputed territories of Moldavia and Wallachia, with tacit support from Paris, which ultimately led to the outbreak of the Russo-Turkish War of 1806 to 1812. He also successfully helped the Ottomans defend against a British naval assault on Constantinople under Admiral Duckworth in 1807 as part of the brief Anglo-Turkish War. The tradition of creating European-style orders in the Ottoman Empire continued throughout its history, famously with the Order of Medjidie, created by Sultan Abdul Majid in 1851, notably awarded to British and French officers in the Crimean War. And there was also the Crimean Medal, known in British circles just as the Turkish Medal, given to soldiers of the French, British and Piedmontese armies for their service in the Crimea. There was also the Order of Osmanieh, the Order of the Glory, the Order of Distinction, and in the same fashion as the Crescent, the Gallipoli Star was issued as an award to soldiers of the Central Powers during the First World War. But of all the Ottoman distinctions, I think by far the most iconic will always be Nelson's Order of the Crescent. If you're looking to own one of these iconic pieces of military history, whether it be for decoration, a costume, living history, or perhaps you've done a service to the Ottoman Sultan and want to reward yourself, I'm going to put the link in the description. We have both the blue from the undress uniform and the yellow from the full dress available. And thank you again for watching, and carry on, and good morning.